Hi guys, and welcome back to day number 12 of my 31 Days of Horror. Today I'm going to be doing a movie that's actually a sequel to a film I have yet to see. I don't think it really matters though, because I think these movies really have nothing to do with each other based on the type of content that's in them, but at the same time it does kind of bother me that I'm doing a sequel without seeing the first one. So if I come across the first one by the end of my 31 day challenge, I will definitely be reviewing that as well. But unfortunately, I got this DVD was given to me by a friend, and then I did not find the other one on DVD or on Netflix or anything like that in time, so figure I'll just go ahead and do this since I do have it. But anyway, that movie is All Hallows Eve Part 2. This is an anthology film. Basically, a girl is home at night on Halloween, and this dude with a creepy pumpkin mask leaves a VHS at her doorstep. So she goes in and watches it, and then you just start seeing a bunch of short films. I forget how many shorts are in this. It feels like a lot. I can't remember how many. It's a 91-minute film, and most of the shorts are very short. But yeah, so she's basically just watching these shorts. They really don't have anything to do with each other. It's one of those where it's kind of just like a short film show-off type movie, not really a true anthology, which is one thing I like about the movie Trick or Treat. That is like the definition of a perfect anthology, where it all takes place in one night. It's actually a full movie where the events go into each other. It's just a night on Halloween, and the events aren't just short clips that have nothing to do with each other. It's actually a story, so that kind of sets it apart from the rest of these films. Like I said, this is a girl who is watching a VHS tape, which has been done before in the movie VHS, and actually late fee. This is obviously better than late fee, not as good as VHS, I would say. But anyway, yeah, like, to get into it, I mean, the clips, the first like two are based around Halloween settings, and then the other ones aren't. There's another one that's set on Halloween later on in the film, but some of them are not set on Halloween. Most of them aren't. There's one like set in the winter and things like that. So I think it's kind of like weird, you know, like if you're gonna make a movie like this, I feel like you should, if it's gonna be an anthology movie, I feel like the films should kind of have something to do with each other. Like, you know, if they're not the same story, at least give them all Halloween settings or like winter settings or something like that, especially since it's like All Hallows Eve. Like, it should be like a Halloween type feel to it, but whatever. I mean, the first segment I thought was pretty solid. It was not very long at all, probably like 2 minutes or something. Not 2 minutes, probably like 5 minutes, 10 minutes or something like that. But it felt very, sorry, my cat like ran on the steps and I thought someone was breaking in. But anyway, it felt very very short, simple, but it did it right. You know, I mean, like, it got the story across, got the point across. A lot of times with short films, they're very hit or miss. Like, you either have a story that is solid, creepy, makes sense, and it's like just right to the point, or you have a story that is kind of, it's almost like they did not have enough time to make a story and none of it makes sense and it's just an epic failure. But with this one, I felt like it did a pretty good job. And then the second story was one that I felt like did not make a whole lot of sense. Like, I just didn't understand. I feel like that was an example of one that they needed a little more time to develop characters and what was going on and things like that. So, did not care for that one. The next one, I'm trying to remember the order of them, but I think the next one was another one that was very short and to the point. Like, you understand what was happening, but there wasn't a lot to it. There wasn't really much tension because it was so short. Then the one after that, I think that's the one where a girl, it's kind of like an home invasion type film, and a girl sees something happen. Sorry, I'm not like getting into the actual stories of these too much, because then the review will go on for too long, and also like they're so short that like I don't want to give anything away to people who want to see it because there's not a lot to explain. But to recap, like, the first one is basically a babysitter watching a kid on Halloween night. She's carving a jack-o'-lantern for him and things like that. it's really cool. It feels like kind of like a Halloween movie because, you know, like actual, like the Halloween franchise, one of like the original movie, because it's a babysitter, Home Alone, babysitting a boy and carving a jack-o'-lantern. Then the second one is like this couple who's living in like isolation and they're afraid of the outside world. The third one is a son and the father going to the middle of the woods to offer up a sacrifice of sorts. And then I believe the fourth one is like the home invasion type one. I might be missing one. It's hard to remember, but yeah, this one I thought was pretty okay. I thought it was pretty good. There was one aspect to it that did not make a whole lot of sense, but other than that, it was alright. And then there was one that was ridiculously short. It was like a carnival type setting. It was so short you had no idea what was going on. It didn't really do much. And then there was one that was kind of longer, and I thought it was kind of boring, really. Like, it was actually, it's like ironic because it was like the longest one, but I was kind of bored by it. Not a lot is going on, and I don't know, it was just kind of dull to me. And then the other one, the last one, I don't think I skipped any. I think this is all of them, but the last short was probably the best one there was, and it was entirely in Spanish, and there's no subtitles or anything, and I got C's in Spanish, so I couldn't really read what was going on, but it was like a dude on it involved like Facebook, and it kind of felt like, honestly, like it felt like the movie Friend Request almost ripped this off, which is weird, and it also kind of felt like The Ring. It felt like a mix of the two movies, but I thought it was actually really creepy and it gave me chills, and it was a solid way to end the anthology. Like, they went out strong with that one. Like I said, though, it was in Spanish, and like I, didn't have subtitles, didn't know really what was being said, but that kind of doesn't matter because it was so short and you got the point of what was going on. But yeah, and then you get back to the girl in the house who's actually watching the VHS, and like what happens to her just happens like in a split second, and there's really nothing to it. Like, there's no major wraparound or anything like that. It just like what happens is something you knew what was going to happen all along, and then like the movie just ends like that. So it was almost pointless. It was like they were just trying to find like a wraparound thing with, the unoriginal wraparound with a person watching a VHS Home Alone and this creepy dude's like outside waiting for them and stuff like that. So that was not too good. It was very weak, very pointless kind of. So overall, like, this movie, I mean, it wasn't horrible. I do want to see the first one because there was a trailer for the first one in the previews before this one played, and that one kind of looks like it's scarier. I haven't heard much about it, but like, I do want to check it out. Overall, this one struggled with the stories being too short, honestly. Like, there wasn't enough character development for each one except for the one that was longer. Like, that one I just didn't think was that solid. So this one's main struggle was just with them being way too to the point. The story doesn't really make sense. Like, it's supposed to be an anthology, but nothing's related and stuff like that. So it's really just like an average flick. I recommend it for the shorts that are decent. Like, they're not all like god awful, so I can recommend it for that aspect. But overall, it's very much just like a little bit above average film. I give it a 5.5 out of 10. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys once again for joining me for day number 12 of 31 Days of Horror, and I shall see you all in day 13.